Question 1. Explain the concept of descriptive statistics and its importance in analyzing data. Answer 1. Descriptive statistics is a branch of statistics that involves summarizing and describing the main features of a data set. Its primary objective is to organize, simplify, and present data in a meaningful and informative way, allowing researchers, analysts, and decision makers to understand the characteristics of the data without drawing conclusions beyond what the data reveals. Descriptive statistics provide insights into the central tendency, variability, and distribution of data, helping to uncover patterns, trends, and relationships within the data set. There are several key concepts and measures in descriptive statistics. 1. Measures of central tendency. These statistics indicate the center or average value of a data set. The most common measures of central tendency include the mean, median, and mode. The mean is the arithmetic average of all the values in the data set. The median is the middle value when the data set is ordered from least to greatest, and the mode is the value that occurs most frequently in the data set. 2. Measures of variability. These statistics quantify the spread or dispersion of data around the central value. Common measures of variability include the range, variance, and standard deviation. The range is the difference between the largest and smallest values in the data set, while the variance and standard deviation measure the average distance of data points from the mean. 3. Graphical representations. Descriptive statistics also include graphical representations of data, such as histograms, box plots, and scatter plots. These visualizations provide a visual summary of the data distribution, making it easier to identify patterns, outliers, and relationships between variables. The importance of descriptive statistics in analyzing data cannot be overstated. It serves several crucial purposes. 1. Summarizing data. Descriptive statistics condense large amounts of data into a few key summary statistics, providing an overview of the main features of the data set. 2. Identifying patterns and trends. Descriptive statistics help identify patterns, trends, and relationships within the data, allowing researchers to uncover insights and make informed decisions. 3. Comparing groups. Descriptive statistics facilitate comparisons between different groups or subsets of data, helping to identify similarities and differences between them. 4. Communicating findings. Descriptive statistics provide a clear and concise way to communicate findings to stakeholders, policymakers, and other interested parties, enabling them to understand the implications of the data and take appropriate action. Question 2. Differentiate between descriptive and inferential statistics, providing examples of each. Answer 2. Descriptive and inferential statistics are two branches of statistics that serve distinct purposes in analyzing data. Here is how they differ, along with examples of each. 1. Descriptive statistics. Purpose. Descriptive statistics are used to summarize and describe the main features of a data set. They provide a concise overview of the data, including measures of central tendency, variability, and graphical representations. Examples. Suppose you have a data set consisting of the heights of students in a classroom. Descriptive statistics would involve calculating the mean height, measure of central tendency, the range of heights, measure of variability, and creating a histogram to visualize the distribution of heights. Another example could be analyzing the monthly sales data of a company. Descriptive statistics would involve calculating the average monthly sales, mean, the variability in sales across months, range or standard deviation, and creating a line graph to display the trend in sales over time. 2. Inferential statistics. Purpose. Inferential statistics are used to make inferences, predictions, or generalizations about a population based on sample data. They involve hypothesis testing, estimation, and determining the likelihood of certain outcomes. Examples. Let's say you conduct a survey to estimate the average income of households in a city. You collect data from a sample of 500 households and calculate the mean income. Inferential statistics would involve using this sample mean to make an inference about the average income of all households in the city. Another example could be testing the effectiveness of a new drug in reducing blood pressure. You conduct a randomized controlled trial where half of the participants receive the drug and the other half receives a placebo. Inferential statistics would involve comparing the blood pressure measurements between the two groups to determine if the drug has a significant effect. Question 3. What are probability distributions and how are they used in statistics? Answer 3. Probability distributions are mathematical functions that describe the likelihood of different outcomes occurring in a random experiment or event. They provide a framework for quantifying uncertainty and predicting the probability of various outcomes. Probability distributions can be classified into two main types: discrete distributions and continuous distributions. 1. Discrete probability distributions. Discrete distributions are used when the random variable can only take on a finite or countable number of distinct values. Examples of discrete distributions include the binomial distribution, Poisson distribution, and discrete uniform distribution. These distributions are characterized by probability mass functions, PMFs, which assign probabilities to each possible outcome of the random variable. 3. Continuous probability distributions. Continuous distributions are used when the random variable can take on any value within a certain range. Examples of continuous distributions include the normal distribution, exponential distribution, and uniform distribution. These distributions are characterized by probability density functions, PDFs, which describe the relative likelihood of different values of the random variable occurring within the range. Probability distributions are used in statistics in various ways. 1. Modeling real-world phenomena. Probability distributions are used to model and describe the variability and uncertainty inherent in real-world phenomena. They provide a mathematical representation of random processes and allow statisticians to make predictions and estimates based on probabilistic assumptions. 2. Hypothesis testing. Probability distributions are used in hypothesis testing to assess the likelihood of observing certain outcomes under different hypotheses. For example, in a t-test for comparing means, the distribution of the test statistic under the null hypothesis, example, t-distribution, is used to determine the probability of observing the sample result if the null hypothesis is true. 3. Estimation. Probability distributions are used in parameter estimation to determine the most likely values of unknown parameters based on observed data. For example, in maximum likelihood estimation, probability distributions are used to model the likelihood of observing the data given different parameter values, and the parameters are estimated to maximize this likelihood. 4. Prediction and forecasting. Probability distributions are used in prediction and forecasting to quantify uncertainty and generate probabilistic forecasts. For example, in time series analysis, probability distributions are used to model the uncertainty around future observations, allowing for the calculation of prediction intervals and probabilistic forecasts. 4. Explain the concept of sampling techniques and their importance in statistical analysis. Answer 4. Sampling techniques refer to the methods used to select a subset of individuals or elements from a larger population for the purpose of data collection and analysis. These techniques are crucial in statistical analysis for several reasons. 1. Representativeness. Sampling techniques ensure that the selected sample accurately represents the characteristics of the population from which it is drawn. By using appropriate sampling methods, researchers can obtain a sample that is reflective of the population in terms of relevant demographics, variables, or attributes. This allows for generalization of findings from the sample to the larger population with confidence. 2. Efficiency. Sampling techniques enable researchers to gather data efficiently and cost-effectively, especially when it is impractical or impossible to study the entire population. Instead of collecting data from every individual in the population, researchers can select a smaller subset of individuals through sampling, saving time, resources, and effort. 3. Accuracy. Sampling techniques help minimize errors and biases that may arise in data collection. By employing randomization and systematic sampling methods, researchers can reduce the likelihood of selection bias and ensure that each member of the population has an equal chance of being included in the sample. This enhances the accuracy and reliability of the statistical analysis. 4. Precision. Sampling techniques allow researchers to control the size and composition of the sample according to the research objectives and statistical requirements. By determining the appropriate sample size and sampling method, researchers can achieve the desired level of precision and confidence in the statistical estimates and findings. 5. Flexibility. Sampling techniques offer flexibility in data collection, allowing researchers to tailor the sampling approach to the specific characteristics of the population and research context. Different sampling methods, such as random sampling, stratified sampling, cluster sampling, or convenience sampling, can be used depending on the research objectives, resources, and constraints. Question 5. Explain the concept of hypothesis testing in inferential statistics. Answer 5. Hypothesis testing is a fundamental concept in inferential statistics that involves making decisions or drawing conclusions about a population based on sample data. It is used to assess the validity of claims or hypotheses about a population parameter, such as a population mean, proportion, or variance. The process of hypothesis testing follows a structured framework and involves several steps. 1. Formulating hypotheses. The first step in hypothesis testing is to formulate two competing hypotheses, the null hypothesis, H0, and the alternative hypothesis, Ha. The null hypothesis represents the status quo or no effect and is typically denoted as H0. It states that there is no significant difference, effect, or relationship in the population. The alternative hypothesis represents the researcher's claim or the presence of an effect and is denoted as Ha. It states that there is a significant difference, effect, or relationship in the population. 2. Choosing a significance level. The significance level, alpha, is the probability of rejecting the null hypothesis when it is actually true. It represents the maximum tolerable level of type I error, which is the probability of incorrectly rejecting a true null hypothesis. Commonly used significance levels include alpha is equal to 0.05, alpha is equal to 0.01, or alpha is equal to 0.10. The choice of significance level depends on the desired balance between type I and type II errors and the specific research context. 3. Selecting a test statistic. The next step is to choose an appropriate test statistic that will be used to assess the strength of evidence against the null hypothesis. The choice of test statistic depends on the research question, the type of data, and the assumptions about the population distribution. Common test statistics include the Z-statistic, T-statistic, chi-square statistic, and F-statistic. 4. Calculating the test statistic. Once the test statistic is selected, it is calculated based on the sample data and the null hypothesis. The test statistic quantifies the difference between the sample data and the null hypothesis, providing a measure of how unlikely the observed sample result would be if the null hypothesis were true. 5. Determining the decision rule. The decision rule specifies the criteria for deciding whether to reject the null hypothesis based on the calculated test statistic and the chosen significance level. If the p-value, the probability of observing the sample result or a more extreme result under the null hypothesis, is less than the significance level, alpha, the null hypothesis is rejected in favor of the alternative hypothesis. Otherwise, the null hypothesis is not rejected. 6. Interpreting the results. Finally, The results of the hypothesis test are interpreted in the context of the research question and the decision rule. Times if the null hypothesis is rejected, it provides evidence in support of the alternative hypothesis, indicating that there is a significant difference, effect, or relationship in the population. If the null hypothesis is not rejected, it suggests that there is insufficient evidence to support the alternative hypothesis. Question 6. Discuss the importance of understanding probability distributions in statistical analysis. Understanding probability distributions is of paramount importance in statistical analysis for several reasons. 1. Modeling real-world phenomena. Probability distributions provide a mathematical framework for modeling and describing the variability and uncertainty inherent in real-world phenomena. By selecting an appropriate probability distribution that closely resembles the behavior of the data, statisticians can accurately represent and analyze complex systems, processes, and phenomena in various fields such as finance, engineering, biology, and social sciences. 2. Making predictions and forecasts. Probability distributions allow statisticians to make predictions and forecasts about future outcomes based on historical data and probabilistic assumptions. By analyzing the properties and parameters of probability distributions, statisticians can estimate the likelihood of different scenarios, assess risks, and generate probabilistic forecasts with associated confidence intervals. This enables informed decision-making and planning in diverse domains, including business, economics, and environmental science. 3. Hypothesis testing and inference. Probability distributions play a crucial role in hypothesis testing and inference, where researchers make decisions or draw conclusions about population parameters based on sample data. By understanding the distributional properties of test statistics under the null hypothesis, statisticians can assess the strength of evidence against the null hypothesis, calculate p-values, and make informed decisions about rejecting or failing to reject hypotheses. This facilitates rigorous scientific inquiry, hypothesis testing, and theory validation in research and experimentation. 4. Estimation and parameter inference. Probability distributions are used in parameter estimation to infer unknown parameters of a population based on sample data. By fitting probability distributions to observed data and estimating their parameters using methods such as maximum likelihood estimation or Bayesian inference, statisticians can make reliable estimates of population parameters and quantify uncertainty around these estimates. This allows for the construction of confidence intervals and credible intervals, providing insights into the precision and reliability of statistical estimates. 5. Data analysis and visualization. Probability distributions facilitate data analysis and visualization by providing a compact and interpretable summary of the data distribution. By visualizing probability distributions using histograms, density plots, or cumulative distribution functions, CDFs, statisticians can gain insights into the shape, central tendency, variability, and tails of the data distribution. This helps identify patterns, outliers, and relationships in the data, guiding further analysis and interpretation.